Like we're going live. Looks like we're going live. I'm going to check this out. I'm going to declutter that part. Look at the magic of television, people. I'm going to declutter that corner by going like this. Suddenly, it's so much cleaner, huh? Hello, hello. I'll wait for some people to show up. We are on the right day, right? This happened to me last week. Last week, there we go. Secret page, not so secret to some of you. Monday, September 8th, 2 p.m. TikTok, 8 p.m. YouTube Live. All right. I've done my part. I'm feeling good about it. I'm feeling 7-up. As I wait for people to show up, I will do a little bit of puttering and decluttering at my own desk, putting things where they're supposed to be. Macho man. I'm going to put these somewhere more obnoxious so I actually use them. And good evening. Yeah, getting back in the swing of things. Getting back in the New York groove, right? Who was that? Paul Stanley, Ace Frehley, I think was back in the New York groove. I could yell down the hallway to my hubs to see if that's the case, but I'm going to just trust it myself. Oop, let me do this. Put my cursor there. Boop, boop. There we go. Now I can see the chat more. So yeah, good evening, everybody. It is a bit different. It is a bit different that I'm having a TikTok live, or excuse me, a YouTube live, on a Monday night. But I knew that I was going to be starting late today because this morning I was supposed to drive my husband to a gig thing. And yeah, so if you are one of the people that's seeing me right now, let me know if you can see and hear me. If you could just put something in the chat to say like, yes, I can see and hear you or something. I know my mic is working there, but I've got my earbuds plugged into it. And I'm just not quite sure. So please just let me know. If not, I can problem solve, but you can't fix what you don't know is a problem, huh? Here's a fun thing. Oops. Did I do an arm weight workout today or wear my posture bra? Nope. That is a pothole. I did take another walk today. I have drunk so much walk. Thank you, LO, for saying I can see and hear. I appreciate that. I have drunk so much water today. Not that I'm drunk, but man, have I gone to the bathroom. Teeth brushing. Okay. Oh, you know what? I technically flossed my teeth this morning. Okay. I mean, I could do it tonight. So yay. Good stuff, people. Mary Lou, thank you for letting me know that you can see and hear me. Christine. It's a Christine twofer. I hope you're doing well, my dear. Good stuff. Good stuff. I hope y'all had a good day. I'm always curious because the evening TikTok lives or YouTube lives, the evening social media lives, have a different feel than the daily ones. The daily ones were a little bit more kind of active. We're getting ourselves done for the day. We're kind of winding ourselves up for the day. And sometimes these evening ones are winding down. But let me ask you this. Upon reflection, how did your day go today? Reflect. If you were in the car, look in the rearview mirror. Notice, and I know notice was somebody's, I think it was Leslie's hydration word the other day. Notice what comes to mind. What's the things you remember? Do you remember all the crappy stuff that happened to you? I mean, it did happen. Crappy stuff does happen. Or do you remember the good things? I find this really interesting because I was catching up with myself. I was writing down the things that I put in this book. And I mean, check it out. I've got a number of pages started in this book, just 2024. Started it in August of 2024. And I know when I read what I wrote in here that there were probably some less than stellar things that happened, but course correcting and practicing, as the song says, accentuating the positive to eliminate the negative. Don't mess with Mr. In Between. right? Um, it is something that I've not been good at. I wasn't taught to look for the good. I was taught to look for, well, to look for the union label. But getting in the practice of looking for good things, writing down the good things, knowing damn well I could pretty much every day be like, I was crabby to somebody. But accentuating the good stuff makes you feel good and makes you want to create more of that good feeling. So I hope you have some good stuff to write down. Anybody got any good stuff that happened today to you, or I say better yet, but equally as fine, any good stuff that you made happen today? Anything you want to share? Pop it into the comments. I'll give you a couple minutes, and I can also share some things for me as I catch up. Let me reflect. What did I do? Oh, I took my second walk to pick up. And then what else did I do that I thought was kind of cool? I thought there was, okay, well, here's a good thing that I'm writing down that I got done is 8 p.m. YouTube live. Yay. Yeah. Oh, look what we got here. There we go. Yay. Now, Christine says, wanting to dwell on what I didn't get done today, but I went to a Qigong, I think, Qigong, I can never know how to pronounce that, today, which was a big deal. So again, if we all use these evening YouTube lives to pull out the old road trip of your life, road trip journal, your travel journal, writing down. And when something really cool happens, I even, instead of making a bullet point, like a little dot, I make an asterisk. If something is a big deal, I'm like, yes, this happened. Oh, I know what I did. And like a load of laundry, I put that stuff in there too. Like I could easily add emptied the dishwasher. There we go. Emptied dishwasher. Why not? But like another asterisk would be planted seeds. Yeah. I'm going to write down of. Okay. So getting curious, it may be a habit. I think the human, I've read it many places that the that the human brain is wired to look for the problems because the problems could create danger. But because we can get in that rut, in that, I just call it a rut of doing that, you forget that good stuff happens too. So notice, Christine, your habitual, I don't want to say your natural inclination, though there may be a bit of that, but your habitual inclination may be to dwell on what you didn't get done. Now, here's a great thing about this time of day and the stuff you didn't get done. The other funny thing is you've got 3 hours left of your day. So you may possibly be able to get some of the things that you wanted to get done today because you have a few more hours. But if you didn't, as Bob Seger would say, turn the page. Right? This is me. I started to do that already. This is my day today. I got some stuff done and I crossed a line through it and I rewrote it down here. The stuff that I didn't write down, oh, see, that's one. I would have forgotten I to do that. And the things that I did not get done today, I don't dwell on it. Dwelling means hanging out there for too long. I notice it and I write it down on tomorrow's day. Okay. Okay. Now, LO, I love the fact that you're using the habit tracker. I'm trying to remember where I left off before I left. The habit tracker is helpful to help me reset. Me too, because I was hanging around. Where is mine? Mine's right here. I was away for a few days. I didn't bring it with me because I knew that this particular trip was just going to be a whole bunch of chaos and I would be setting myself up for disappointment thinking I was going to get all my stuff down. Luckily, I will say this, luckily, at least a number of those things that I have on my habit tracker, I would occasionally remember to do, even though I didn't do them that well. Okay, there we go. And I'm glad, Christine, that you like these West Coast late bird friendly lives. Yeah, the night is young for you. Yeah, I feel like I want to mentally check out, but getting up to do the dishes in the sink as I listen. Yay, you'll feel better about that. I know you will. Yeah, Laura's just catching me right now. Yeah, and it's not luck. I mean, it is luck if you didn't look at the schedule, but this was scheduled, so yay. I love, Mary Lou, that you're saying you're grateful. It was a low stress day at work. In my downtime, I was able to journal a bit. Okay. Yeah. Feeling better already. Yay, hon. Good stuff. Good stuff. I did some journaling today too, and it was really helpful because I felt like just this. You ever get that feeling of kind of like, I mean, you guys know because of my schedule, it has been a whirlwind of travel and whatnot. And this felt like the first kind of good break. There's still a wee bit of chaos here, but definitely calming down because I am doing my stuff and my husband's wacky schedule is going to be its own thing. But I said, okay, kind of like, getting back from something and remembering where you left off. It's like, okay, never mind what was happening. Like all of that stuff is in the rearview mirror. I'm left here with a little bit of that unsettled feeling because of all that. So let me settle myself down some. Calm down, sit down, breathe down, drink down some water, and then write down. And I did. And I did. I wrote down some of the random things that would pop up, like, put the umbrella away. But I also did, and I just did it in the back of one of my pages here. I did a few pages of just, brain dumping and saying, okay, where am I now? What do I want my 2026 to look like? But what do I want my September? And a few things that I wrote down that seemed important to me to kind of start up again, or to just start for the first time in a while yet, in September, I then took the action to make them happen. I scheduled a yoga class. I bought another pass to a Pilates thing. Yeah, settling and resetting. I love that, Elo. Yeah. And then just kind of going out. The further out you plan, much like looking at like a road in the distance. If you look at my website, I tried to pick out some stock photos of that kind of road, and you're there on the road and you're driving forward. But as you know, things in the distance tend to be a little more fuzzy, a little less clear because you're not as close to them. They're up there. So the things that way ahead can be a little bit fuzzy, but the things that are more close are a little bit more sharp, defined. So notice that. Oh, hey, that's cool. Sue, I love it. Sue says, just finished listening to the last 15 minutes from this morning's TikTok that I missed, and it motivated me to go through the returns and unopened orders from the weekend. I love that. Good stuff, hon. Good stuff. Penciling in things on your calendar. I've penciled in things literally, even if I'm using pen, and I've got my handy dandy whiteout thing here, not liquid paper, Mrs. Nesmith. I apologize. But I penciled in some things literally up till this time and past that of 2026. It's fun to put things on the calendar. It's fun to kind of expand your capacity. And even so much that this was kind of eye-opening. I wrote down 2026, okay? And all I did was I put like 2026, and then I put the months on it, just very loosey goosey. And then I put down the things that I already know are happening, which are a number. And then I said, okay, let me even push out. What's the year after 26? How old will I be in this year? And it was just a nice brain, um, brain stretching uh, thing, exercise, a stretching exercise. The reason I just got distracted is because you know who we have in the house, everybody, your favorite gal and mine, Carla Jane from Alabama. And Carla Jane, look at this t-shirt I'm wearing. I love it, hon. Good to see you. It has been a minute and you've been through some stuff. Yay. Here, I know you can still hear me without using my Carla Jane microphone. A round of applause. Nice to see you, Carla Jane. Good stuff. Good stuff, people. A new chapter. Yay. Yeah, see? Everybody saying hi to Carla. Yep. New chapters can start at any time. New chapters can start at any time. Even on, whatever. Yeah, Carla Jane. Carla Jane is now officially divorced. Yeah, congratulations, hon. That is a big deal. You know, it's funny. I don't remember the date of my divorce. I don't even remember the year. I think it was 96. I felt like it should have been 95. It better not have been 97. It doesn't even matter. But yay. Yay for closure on that chapter. Yay for that being now in the rear view mirror. Yay for you now driving forward without that clutter to deal with. And congratulations. That is a milestone that is filled with all sorts of feelings. But we are here for you. Yeah. Carla Jane says he's already engaged and my alimony moved for 10 years. Hey, that's good. We were married for 10 years. Alimony, that's cool. My ex-husband, I will share with you. Oh, I could do the math on that one. No. I will really have to go look in my own journey. But I swear to God, within months of us getting divorced, me and my ex getting divorced, he got remarried like that. It must have been 95. It couldn't have been 95. Who cares? Yeah. Yes. Best wishes on a new beginning. Yeah. And isn't this great? Here's a fun thing. We are all kind of doing the modern, less cluttered version of sending a Hallmark card to Carla. And the things that are good about it are: one, doesn't cost any money; two, doesn't have to pay for postage; three, she doesn't have to declutter them. What do I do with these cards that everybody sent me? You get the vibe, you get the message. It has been a lot. I would be surprised if you're not just kind of, reeling from it and recovering at a pace that feels good to you. And we are all here with you in your new beginning. And I think that's wonderful. I think that's great. Looking for the helpers? You've got the helpers. So yay for Carla Jane being back in town. Yeah, Carla Jane figuring out what Carla Jane wants to do when she's journaling. Get divorced? Check. See, that's the funny thing. I'm just kind of riffing on my own thing. I have been a list maker for years. I've been a list maker for years, and I remember saying this because I made a list on a computer. And I know that sounds funny, but it was in 1995. And I made a list of things at the beginning of the year that I wanted to do. And it was literally printed on that dot matrix, and the paper had the holes on the side of it. And you could have the paper folded. And if you wanted 2 pages, you needed to rip them apart. I had a list, and I found it somewhat recently when I was decluttering. And I know I still have it, because the crazy thing was, I will share this with you, is the number one thing on my list is still the thing I'm working on right now. My posture. Sit up, stand up straight, get better posture. Just bought one of those posture not a Sealy Posturepedic morning, one of those bras and stuff. So there are things that you can continue to work on for years. The one thing that was not on my bingo card, as they say, for that year was that my husband and I would separate and then later divorce. Um, Sometimes you don't expect these things, but man, was it in hindsight the best freaking thing that ever happened to me. So I offer to you some of the things that feel like at the time they may be the worst, or they may make you feel all sorts of feelings in hindsight. And the hindsight doesn't need to be however many decades that I've been divorced, but they could be something really good. Christine, this is so fun. So, Christine, I signed on at around 8 o'clock. I wish, oh, actually, I can. I don't know if there's a, like, when you things, okay, getting up to do the dishes as I listen, I am going to see. Nope. I was just going to see if there was a time of when you posted that. Look at how quickly you did the dishes. This is the elasticity of our brain is not a good timekeeper. So notice that, and it overestimate and underestimate. Done and done. So feeling good about doing the dishes didn't take long at all, and now you're feeling good about it. Now, I offer to everybody, do what feels right to you. Work at a pace that feels good to you. Do things at a pace that feels good to you. Sometimes having a lot of fun in a row can be exhausting as well. So I say work at a pace, but live at a pace that works for you. Yes, it took no time at all and very little effort once I got off the couch. So, you know how sometimes we say that you got to calm yourself down to get started? Sometimes the opposite of calming down is standing up. Like standing up can be the thing that when you're ready, when you're feeling okay, moving your body closer to what you're going to do is a really good, even just putting your hand on the item or whatever it is kind of breaks the spell, the inertia, the spell that you're paralyzed and can't move. Going, as I said, that kind of oomph and getting yourself up. Sometimes you can sneak your way by getting up to pretend you're doing something like, oh, I got to go to the bathroom, and then sneak around to yourself to say, well, while I'm up, why don't I just putter and declutter? But if you're feeling good and you feel like doing that, do it. If you don't, don't. But every little bit you do now is just a little bit less that you have to do tomorrow. I like this time of day for, as I mentioned, that kind of concept of puttering and decluttering. Maybe it's because I worked retail for so long that this would be around the time that when we closed the store at 9 o'clock, that we would start to go back and literally put things away that throughout the day, customers or other employees or ourselves had put things where they didn't necessarily need to be long term. Kind of resetting the store so that when we opened it up the next day, it was ready to go. So just think about that idea. Like, so tomorrow, I will share this with you. One of the things that people often say to do is to like lay your clothes out beforehand. I'm not a big doer of that because I kind of wear the same thing every day and the weather is different. So that's not something that works for me. Maybe it's something that works for you. But think about it for just a moment. What is there something you could do even just in the next, it's 8:24, in the next 6 minutes, spending 6 minutes between 8:24 p.m. Eastern and 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Okay, right. Carla says I'm an emotional dresser. I can't do that. Yeah, me too. I want to, I don't know what black t-shirt I'm going to wear that day, right? But giving yourself that opportunity. But what's something you could spend 5 or 6 minutes on right now that would set up you for success tomorrow? You could technically brush your teeth while I'm doing this this YouTube live. I'm thinking of the things on my list. Do you have any medications you take before bed? Maybe that's the time you do that. Are there any things that have kind of accumulated, just nothing major, but anything that's kind of floating, drifting along on the surface that you could easily just throw away or put away? Okay. Okay. Christine says, for a minute there, I thought it was Carla Jane, and I was going to be like, please, Carla Jane, we just got you back into the land of the living. Do not get yourself stuck under the king mattress. Okay. You can do this, Christine. Okay. You can do that. It might be helpful to get help, but I don't know a split king from a split queen. I assume it's big, it's easier. So, yeah, if you can do that, give it a shot. If you get stuck, we can't dial 911 though. So, please let us know if you do it and that you're okay. It's almost like when I texted my mother to say, I got home safely. I still do that nowadays because I know peace of mind is so important for her. Okay, it's basically a twin. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I get it. Okay, so notice, here's a fun thing. We always talk about chunking stuff down. Flipping an entire king mattress that was not split would be cumbersome. You would need help for it. What did the mattress people do? They chunked it down into 2 chunks, 2 twins, and probably a little thingy in the middle of them, right? So think about that. Think about how the chunking it down is now making it easier on Christine. Okay. Now, to me, I'll be honest with you. That's above my pay grade at this time of night, but I'm also 3 hours ahead of you. Think of something easy peasy lemon squeezy that you could do so that when you wake up tomorrow, you're setting yourself up for success. Wiping down your counters so the ants don't come in. We have to take out the trash tonight. So taking the trash out, you know, um, notice where you're at. And I just offer to you that we have this time together, and you don't necessarily need to watch the screen in order to make the benefit of this time together. But speaking of this time together, and especially because I'm here, there are things that you can do that are easy, and I love that. Do the easy things. But let me ask you, it's 8:27. We'll be here. I will be here for another 33 minutes. Take a moment and think about something that you're stuck with declutter-wise, and use your connection with me. We have less than 10 people on this live. This is almost like, I hate the phrase, it just annoys me, like a mastermind, okay? This is like a select, like instead of coaching to the stadium, we are in like the little black box theater, okay? Carla Jane is saying, ooh, I got one, please. Hun, I'm here for you. Hit me, hit me, hit me. I'm like James Brown here. I'm like James Brown. James Brown, James Brown, right? All right, what else do we got here? I don't even know what that is. I'm here to offer my services, to my help. And I just say, notice where you're stuck. Notice where you've stopped doing something. Notice how you could start. As Carla types, and I'm sure she's typing, I don't get the little ellipsis of when somebody's like coaching. Here's something that was really a mindset shift for me yesterday. When my husband and I go traveling, he has become very good at going to whatever the fitness workout area is of the hotel and getting on the elliptical. He likes doing that, and God bless him. Now, I'm not a big fan of doing that stuff because sometimes I don't know how to use the equipment. My fear of looking like a fool. My fear of if somebody else is there and I'm doing it wrong. So I tend to go out for a walk. Now, yesterday, it was pouring rain outside on Cape Cod. So I went down to the gym area with him and nobody else was there. And I said, you know what? Instead of looking at this as working out, I'm going to play on this equipment. And I did that. I walked on the treadmill for 15 minutes, but then I stopped. I could have easily been in it for an hour, but I know that I work those muscles all the time. Then I went over to the free weights, and they make them look bigger. That was the other thing. I was afraid they were going to be too heavy and I'd be embarrassed. They have a 5-pound weight that looks like a 10-pound weight. So for 10 minutes, I played with those. Then for another 10 minutes, I was on the bicycle, the recumbent bike. Now, my goodness, did I quickly notice that I don't work those muscles. So what I did was I shifted my brain from working out to playing with the stuff. And I said, this was kind of fun. Because it was fun, I'm more likely to do that again when I'm traveling. Okay. Now, I wanted to finish that story, but I know Carla Jane. I'm going to read. Carla says, I'm working holiday decluttering. I have red, white, and blue napkins and little lights. They are bought for 4th of July, but can be used for other holidays. Do I put them with just that holiday, or maybe summer for the lights, or ice cube trays because I use Constars for the holidays? What I would offer Carla Jane is I would be thinking that basically the red, white, and blue holidays, at least from where I am, often coincide with the summer themselves. So not necessarily getting too specific, but you could have a summer tote of summer um, uh, decor. And within that tote, you could have a red, white, and blue area. I would pretty much guess, though, your mileage may vary, that you will not be decorating with red, white, and blue in September, October, November, December, January, February, March, or April. Probably not till like Memorial Day. So, to put it in like the 2026 May to like Memorial Day to um, Labor Day area. Okay. They could be used for July 4th, but think about it. You're not going to use them for Christmas. They're not Valentine's. They're not green for shamrocks. They're not orange for pumpkins. So maybe try that. Put them in a thing and then label it, summer, and then put underneath it. We were talking about that earlier today, that notion of writing an outline. You've got the general term, planets, Mars, Venus, Earth, my very elegant mother, that type of thing. That's how I learned how to do of I just forgot the name of it. I just said it. An outline. I remember literally I can picture myself in my 4th grade class learning how to do that. So go from the general to the specific. Does that help? Does that help? Okay, cool. Lady Bandit says, I took 2 pickup loads of junk from my childhood home to the dumpster over the weekend. Worked all day and now enjoying a glass of wine. There's just water in here. Okay. Yeah. Yay, Carla Jane. Yay, Lady Bandit. Lady Bandit, I know that can be a thing. But notice what you did. You survived something that you may have been apprehensive about, or you could have been racing to the dump. When my mom passes, there will be some sentimental items. I have already started to kind of squirrel them away in a certain place. But man, when you are trying to empty an entire house, there's just a lot of stuff. And even that stuff takes time and energy. And I love this because LO says, after traveling, I want zero, zilch, nada in my house. Yeah. Noticing the difference between that freedom of travel and simplicity of not having a lot to carry around, but also to deal with wherever you are. And then when you get used to that and you like that feeling, and then you feel that kind of heaviness of when you return home that's caused by every single item in your house. This is a concept that we were talking about again earlier today in the TikTok live. So I caught up on all the recordings, so that one is up there too. To think about your decluttering, but also as you're thinking about kind of the exit strategy for some of these items that are in your house, please remember that at some point, anything you buy now, you or somebody will have to figure out what to do with it later on. This is why, I don't know about you, LO, but I have turned the faucet almost completely off as far as buying souvenirs unless I really like them. Did I buy anything down the Cape? I can't think of anything. I gave myself the opportunity to, and I would honor if I saw something I freaking loved, But even me with books now, I will see a book, and if I was going to try to impress somebody with my cool book collection, I could have bought it and put it on my shelf, but nobody comes to my house anymore. I would look through the book and then put it on the shelf. I have shelves of books I haven't looked through in ages. So I'm really even noticing that. And the funny thing is, I'll share with you when I have finally allowed myself the financial freedom, as they like to say, to purchase anything I want. It's kind of ironic that I want very little as far as tactile things. It's kind of fun. I want opportunities, I want experiences, I want connection, and none of that takes up space, and it's great. I say this too because I'm going to be traveling um, with some friends in about a month or so, and I know that the airline we are traveling has a weight restriction on your suitcase, or they charge you money. So I am going to um, really challenge myself to pack even lighter than I usually do, just to see if I can do it. I will be wearing clothing over and over again. That's okay. Nobody else knows that, and even if they do, they shouldn't care. Mhm. I love it. Lady Bandit is feeling contentment. Everybody, let's take a moment and hang out with Lady Bandit. Can you conjure up the feeling of contentment? What makes you content? Contentment. The interesting thing for me is, I'll offer this. When I think of the feeling of contentment and I embody it, I feel almost like the contents of my stomach is happily just the right amount full. It's not starving hunger and hangry, and it's not, oh, I feel bloated and stretched out and distended. So I think it's really neat that the word content also is the word content, that the contents of my stomach feels full. I feel just right. I don't feel the need for other, because what I have, do I have contentment there? I don't. I have my list of words. I'm adding that, Lady Bandit. Where's my post-it notes there? That's a good one. So good that I'm bumping it up from a Bic pen to a Sharpie. Content. Oops. Got to write it smaller. Contentment. And I'm going to add this to like my mobile of words to remind me of what I want instead of stuff. Good one. Yeah. Now, LO, I think that's a great idea. So I'm going to share it. Okay. LO was just traveling and says, I took pictures of the t-shirts that I picked for the kids just to show them I was thinking of them, but nothing tangible to give. And I will say this. I think that's great because you have also allowed them the freedom of not having a t-shirt that somebody bought you while they were on vacation. So it's like, I am away, yet I am thinking of you. What a cool thing. Yes, enough. Enough. Enough is enough. Who was that? Was that Donna Summer and what's her name? Hold on. Barbara Streisand? Maybe it was just one of them. I've got an AM radio voice in my head that's doing that. Yeah. LO says contentment is simplicity. Therapy Gal Sue says contentment is enough and being grateful. Right. Being content with what you have. I'm good. I'm good. I feel good with what I have, and I'm not feeling in want of something. And that's really what we're going for a lot in the decluttering of our homes. And that's why I made sure to get my certification as a life coach, because it's not just about knowing how to fold a goddamn, you know, t-shirt. It's about how you feel as you move through your life in your home, how you feel as you look at stuff in your home and you interact with the items and where you store them, and feeling good in your home can support you outside of your home where things are less under your control. Yeah, and contentment is simplicity for some. For other people, it may not be simplicity. I want to make sure that it's not, everybody's version is a little bit different, but I will say this for me. I am happier with fewer items, maybe better quality, and yeah, just nothing too fussy. Ooh, McDoug says it's an energy level. Yeah, like if our energy was like waves on a thing, you've got kind of the staticky wave of stress, and you've got overwhelm, and then you've got like depression. Contentment to me is kind of like it's not depression, and it's not this amplified thing that's like it's just a nice little do 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 do. You're on a little boat, you're kind of floating along, feeling good. Maybe it's when you are cruising down the highway at that speed, you know? Yeah, and easy like Sunday morning. And that is a wonderful radio frequency to tune into. That is a wonderful radio frequency to tune into, because that feels good and you can radiate that. You can feel it and live it and radiate it out to others, and it makes other things easy too. Speaking of being in the right frame of mind to do stuff, Christine, update from Christine. Not only has she done the dishes, the laundry is put away, and the bed is flipped and remade. How good you will feel tonight, hun, as you slide your legs into that flipped bed and those nice, clean, tight sheets, or maybe not tight. Maybe you loosen them up so your toes don't suffocate, but you know that they're clean. I have been known to shower and shave my legs before bed sometimes when I know that I have changed the sheets, because I just want that curling up clean feeling. So yay, Christine. Look at what you can do. That is awesome. And how does that feel? What's the wavelength? Like if we were making a little wavelength, you feeling pretty good? I hope so. Yay. Good stuff. Feeling content. Sitting on the dock of the bay, that kind of being out on the porch, maybe on a swing, or hanging out on the patio and noticing that the sun's going down a little bit. Just sitting there and reviewing it and feeling good. Feeling good about stuff. That's what we're aiming for, and I'm glad to hear many of you are there. Now, you don't stay there for too long. You don't. It comes and goes and ebbs and flows. Yeah. Oh. Christine says, thanks for the help, Beth and team. Couldn't have done this without you. But the neat thing is, you're the one who did it. So everybody, notice the power of support, encouragement, practical, ideas. What was the other one I was thinking of? Accountability. Accountability. We sometimes struggle. I recommend this book, and I think I told Christine about this too. Really interesting book that I read on my own prior to getting my certification. It's called The Four Tendencies. It's by Gretchen Rubin. And it's really about the different ways in which it's an idea she has about people that can kind of be categorized into four basic things, and if it's easier for you to hold yourself accountable, or do you need some external accountability? None is right and none is wrong, but when you notice that about yourself, you can then design systems to support you where you are weaker, or you're not as strong. I'm trying to use non-judgmental words. But if it makes it easier for you to, and this is the thing too. Yeah, Christine has other helpful books too. Awesome. But yeah, that was the one that really connected with me. Um, oh, what was I going to say? Connection and accountability. That's one of the reasons, especially with me always being kind of a hub and generating these ways in which everybody, think of it, a spoken hub. You guys are out there and I'm here. And the only way you guys can get to each other is through me. That's one of the reasons I started the Pen Pal Club. Okay. Because I don't want you guys to always have to go through me to get to somebody else. And I want to encourage you to be an encourager for other people. But also, if you benefit from accountability, to reach out and touch, reach out and touch someone. Remember that one? But to connect with people. So there's other ways of communicating. It's almost as if, like I'll be honest with you. I don't expect I will be doing decluttering life coaching. Definitely not in 10 years. I say definitely, but if I'm still enjoying it, I will. But I could stop doing what I'm doing at any time, in theory. And I share with you, much like if TikTok went down or YouTube went blank or, I don't know, you couldn't text anybody, finding ways outside of this one single point of failure, we used to call it in the biz when I was in systems processing, and finding other ways to get what you need if that single point is not there. So I highly encourage you. Now, I'm not sure who's on the in the Pen Pal Club and who's not. Just off the top of my head, I know there's a list. We will be doing a Zoom call this month, a Zoom meeting for anybody only in the Pen Pal Club, though. So you kind of get to know people and you can chat. And I don't know, we can break you out into different rooms to get to know people and stuff. I'm totally making this stuff up as I go along, but I'm a pretty good maker upper. Okay. So I just offer to you, if you're already part of the Pen Pal Club, reach out to somebody this week. Maybe you say to yourself, every day this week, I will just send a quick email off to 3 people who are in the club. And just I'll introduce myself. Maybe even if you sent an introduction before, there are some new people. So maybe you just resend it to people and just reach out and maybe say, I don't know, offer to help somebody, Okay. Now, Narelle says, I've emailed to join the Pen Pal Club, but I haven't seen the list. Okay, good to know. Now, Morel, I'm glad you mentioned that. What I will do is on my list for tomorrow, because I don't want to spend our precious time here, of which we have like 11 minutes, but I'm putting right here, Narelle, email Pen Pal list. Now, I did send out a what do you call it? Thing before I left. So, but that's good to know. And I will look you up and we'll see what the deal is. So thank you for mentioning that. Yeah. And yes, congrats to Christine on the flippity flip of the bed. That's hard work. Yes, there are some things that it helps to get help with, or sometimes you can do it yourself. It's going to be comical. The things that I have gotten in the habit of having help with, because my husband's here when he's gone for 2 months, pretty much. It'll be interesting to see what I can do on my own and what I will have to ask other people for help with because he's not here. All right. So, Narelle, I've got that written down. I will take care of that. You don't worry. Okay. But we've got about 11 minutes here, you guys. Oh, yeah. And if you want to, I did. This is me. If you want to join the Pen Pal Club, you have to be part of the email group first. And you know if you are or not because you've gotten some emails from me. If you want to join the email group, it's destinationdecluttered.com. and then just there's a thing right on the homepage there to join it. And once you do that, just send me an email and just say pen pal and also the state you're in. Now, Narelle, I know you are in uh, Australia, so you're not in a state, but I can put Australia there. Yeah, there we go. Yes, outer order, inner calm. No wonder I'm recommending Gretchen Rubin, right? Outer order, inner calm. Pretty nice, huh? Pretty good. She and I'm sure we'd have many things to talk about. I used to listen to her podcast, podcast with her. She and her sister did one that I listened to. I went through a phase where I was listening to podcasts. I don't really listen to them much anymore because I'm not on the treadmill or in the car as much as I used to be. But yes, there are resources out there. So maybe have some fun and seeing what other people say about decluttering and see what helps you and see what doesn't help you. Because everybody's recipe is going to be a little bit different. It's kind of like DNA. Everybody's, everybody's combo of what works and what doesn't. It's like a recipe. Everybody's got a slightly different, tongue and flavor and taste buds that they like certain things and they don't like certain things. Finding what works for you and then using it really will change your life. It really will. I have found what helps me is to calm down my nervous system, to write down things so I can see what the words are in my head that are making me feel bad, and then practicing looking at those things from the other side and writing those down and practicing them. As I said, I've been a list maker for years, but my lists now are so much easier to just kind of zip through. Even the things that I used to be scared of, even a couple of years ago, are not nearly as scary now because I have done them a couple of times. I just got a text or an email from the guy who does our taxes. I used to be hiding under the table and crawling into a ball and sucking my thumb and self-soothing, being like, oh my God, the tax person, I'm in trouble. I'm going to have to pay money and we don't have blah, 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 blah. I've gotten so much better at that type of thing. You get better at what you practice. What you practice is something you do repeatedly, like practicing a dance step, practicing a musical instrument, practicing a language, practicing, I don't know, probably a sporty thing. You get better at what you practice. So notice what you do repeatedly. What do you practice often? Because you're making yourself stronger on that thing. If you are in the habit of talking to yourself, because a practice and a habit, just things you repeat. If you are in the habit of talking to yourself in a mean way, you're going to get better at it. It's going to get stronger. That muscle will not fade and get weak and die off if you keep on using it. So if you want to weaken that muscle, don't use it. If you want to build another muscle, build the stronger muscle of what you want to have more of in your life. And who doesn't want to have a life full of kind words and encouragement and connection and contentment and creativity and leisure and unexpected delights and expected delights, fascination, discovery, peace of mind, flexibility, generosity, and abundance? I love it. Melissa Garvey did a flea market last weekend and sold a lot of extra plants. Awesome. And just think of what good homes they're going to go to. I'm reducing my responsibilities. I'm reducing my responsibilities in the garden to appreciate what I keep even more. That is gold. Notice the fewer things you have fewer responsibilities. And being the fourth generation oldest daughter, I know all about responsibilities and all about jettisoning them. The fewer things you have, the fewer things you are responsible for, and You can better appreciate what you do have because I can see clearly now because it's not all cluttered up. The things you do love shine with a spotlight on them because they're not getting jumbled up in all the clutter. Now, you may like a maximalist household, but your wheat could be getting confused with your chaff. But yay, Melissa, for realizing that you can declutter something like um uh um plants. I love that. Excuse me. Ooh, Jane Austen. A quote from Jane Austen from LO. I have always supposed it to be my own fault because I will not take the trouble of practicing. Yeah, it's kind of true, Jane. Yeah. But if we think that practicing is trouble, here's the funny thing though. To me, you got to want it. There's a part of you that has to want to do the thing. If you don't want the result, you will not do the practice. I know myself, I didn't want piano lessons, but I got them because my mother wanted them. So there was very little motivation except for pleasing my mother to do the practicing. On the flip side, what's something I've practiced that I've gotten better at? Well, I've gotten better at doing TikTok lives and YouTube lives, right? I've gotten better at, I just got an email today from the woman at the Holy Family Church, where I used to take line dancing lessons. I would go to lessons, I would practice, I got better. It was fun. That was something I liked to do. I would drive 20, 25 minutes across multiple towns to get to there because I enjoyed it. Other things, no. So get curious about the stuff you're not doing and release yourself from the guilt. Release yourself from the obligation. If you haven't done it, do you still want it? Do you still want the result? Now, one result I do want is one of the words in my kind of wordy thing for this next 3 months or so is going to be strength. Strength, physical strength. Because I realized, as I said earlier, there are some muscles I use often. I use my walking muscles, but man, I don't use there's other muscles that are getting soft because I only use them occasionally. And I want to be able to be a well-seasoned, comfortable, strong international traveler for decades. And that means working on my stairway muscles, walking up all those steps in all those countries that have steps, being able to easily lift and take down my suitcases without worrying about it. So working on that way of looking at being strong feels better than, oh, somebody else is making me do it. You know? I can tell Carla has been cleaning out her holiday decor. She says, I absolutely love Christmas, but the North Pole doesn't have this much, right? This is a wonderful thing. When you extract some of that stuff, the things that you are left with will shine even brighter. They will shine even brighter, Carla Jane. And you are, especially this holiday season, I bet there are going to be more people than ever struggling financially to decorate a house, to put up a tree, to buy gifts. So I mean, I don't have a crystal ball, but my spidey sense says that this may be a year that's going to be a struggle for many more people than there have been in previous years. So I am, and I love it. Carla Jane says, and I am getting rid of so very much of it. And I know you have donated a lot of stuff. So I offer this as we sign off because we've got about a minute today. Think about what you have and how the abundance that you have could help somebody else who may not have that. If your abundance is like having too much in your belly and it's kind of stretching and you feel oogie, you reducing it in a way that feels better will get you to that feeling, as we said, of contentment, of feeling just right, of I have enough for me, and I've shared what I don't need, and it feels good. It feels good. Okay. So on that note, I like ending on a it feels good note. So I'm going to sign off because it feels good. For those of you who may be tuned in and are not on the list, destinationdecluttered.com. Sign up for the email list. If you want to get on the pen pal list, shoot me an email. Say pen pal and your state. Narelle, I will check up with you. And then tomorrow, Tuesday, September 9th, there's a TikTok and a YouTube live, 11 a.m. and 12 p.m. Okay? Always a pleasure to hang out with you guys. Carla Jane, congratulations. Christine, congratulations. Lady Bandit, everybody here is doing an awesome job. I'm proud of y'all. And I'm not even from the South. And listen to me, I said y'all. Okay? There's a bunch of hearts for you, and I will see you tomorrow. All right?